Take your dirty hands off that glass. Rick snapped, his voice sharp as a slap. The entire restaurant froze. In front of him stood an elderly black man with a calm demeanor and weathered eyes. He was holding a glass of water, one that Rick had just refused to serve. I told you, this is not a shelter, Rick continued, loud enough for all the diners to hear. You want water? Try the street faucet. Then came the moment that silenced everyone. Rick raised his hand, and slapped the man. The sound cracked through the air like a gunshot. No one moved. The man didn't even raise his voice. He just blinked once, slow. Then set the glass down gently on the table, as if placing a memory. But what Rick, and the entire room, didn't know was that the man he just humiliated was Henry Carter, a legendary retired MMA fighter. And his wife. She was already walking in. What she said next would change everything. Rick stormed off, muttering something about entitled beggars. Around the room, people shifted uncomfortably, unsure whether to intervene or pretend it never happened. Henry remained still. One hand quietly slid into his pocket, touching something cold, a rusted combat medal from 1977. The ribbon had frayed, but the weight still pressed into his palm like the past pressing into the present. He remembered Iraq. His little brother, Marcus, never made it home. Sir, are you okay? A waitress whispered, eyes darting toward the manager's booth. He nodded once. At that moment, Linda Carter walked through the doors. Blazer, badge, and heels, like a storm wrapped in silence. She was headed straight for the back table, unaware her husband had just been assaulted. But the room recognized her before Rick did. Some stood. Others whispered. Rick, oblivious, leaned into a colleague, you'd think the governor just walked in. Then he added louder, hope she knows we don't serve strays. Linda heard. She stopped mid-stride. Her eyes flicked to her husband, then to the red mark on his cheek. Her heel twisted. And the entire restaurant changed temperature. The next thing out of her mouth wasn't what anyone expected. Officer, she said, voice low but absolute. That man you just hit? That's Colonel Henry Carter. And I'm Chief Justice Linda Carter of Maryland. Rick blinked. The server's smirk evaporated like fog under headlights. You assaulted a decorated veteran, Linda continued, pulling out a small leather folder. And you did it while he was under surveillance. For my safety. Gasps. Henry, still seated, finally spoke. No need to press charges, yet. But maybe he should tell your guests what he thinks of men who fought for the freedom he profits from. Rick's face turned ashen. I didn't know. That's the problem, Linda cut in. You never cared to ask. At that moment, two officers, previously off-duty diners, stood up from their corner booth. One quietly walked toward the exit and locked the front door. Until this is documented, he said, hand on his belt. Rick stumbled back. You can't, this is just a misunderstanding. Linda tilted her head. No. This is what justice looks like, when it doesn't wait for court. But it wasn't over yet. Henry had one more thing to say. Henry rose, slowly, like thunder rising beneath the floorboards. He reached into his coat and pulled out the medal again, then placed it silently on the counter. Do you know what this is? He asked, addressing no one in particular. No answer. I earned this fighting for a country that still lets men like you see me as less than human. Rick opened his mouth. You've said enough, Linda snapped. Then something unexpected happened. One of the younger servers stepped forward, removing her apron. I'm done, she said. I won't work somewhere that treats people like this. Another followed. Then another. In moments, the kitchen door swung open, and half the staff walked out. Rick stood alone, sweating, surrounded by justice that didn't shout, it stood. And when Henry picked up his medal again, he didn't wear it. He gave it to the youngest server. The girl looked down at the medal, eyes wide. "But I don't deserve this," she whispered. "You do now," Henry replied. "It's not about the war. It's about what you chose to stand for." As Rick was led out in cuffs, his apron crumpled in his hands, the dining room remained quiet. Linda took her husband's arm. They walked out together, not saying another word. And on the table where the medal had once sat, the only thing left behind was Rick's name tag, bent in the middle, snapped at the edge. Sometimes the loudest justice is the one that leaves something broken behind. Some people fight wars overseas. Others fight them quietly in dining rooms, courtrooms, or within themselves. True strength doesn't always look like a punch, it often looks like restraint. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below and subscribe to our channel.